Welcome to the Chris Hanna Show, where business, as usual, gets a swift kick in the ass. If you're tired of the same old advice and ready to disrupt the status quo, you're in the right place. I'm cutting through the noise with bold strategies, unfiltered truths, and a no-nonsense approach to entrepreneurship, video marketing, and content creation. Buckle up, because it's time to level up, stand out, and dominate your market. This isn't just another podcast, it's a wake-up call for entrepreneurs and would-be aspiring solopreneurs who are all in. Let's get started. Welcome back to another episode of the Chris Hanna Show. Today, I want to talk about something that I've really, come to embrace and I guess regret not doing earlier in my journey, and that is outsourcing. I was way too stubborn throughout this journey of building my own business. And I even think throughout my career, like if I could go back in time and kick my own ass, I probably would, because I, for whatever reason, made it more difficult on myself than it needed to be. And by that, I mean, like, I had to get past this idea that the stigma of outsourcing. And by that, I mean, like, getting other people, like delegating work to other people to do, whether that is people internally, whether that's people, through other agencies. I would try and do everything myself because I thought no one could do it better than me. I am the best at what I do, and no one is better than me. And that meant I'd be working all the time, just fucking working 7 days a week. So like 10 hours plus a day, just working nonstop. Eventually, I can't believe how obvious this was. As I created all-in content, my goal was to convince business owners to outsource their work to me. And as I'm doing I'm going to call it a sales pitch, even though I try not to make it a sales pitch. As I'm pitching, though, like what I do, I'm basically talking about, the done-for-you model that we kind of offer, right? How we batch record videos and we can take care of your content and put it up on your social media for you. So I'm basically an outsourced way of people doing their marketing, but I'm not following it myself when I first started kind of going through this process. And it's probably pretty deep into it before I realized this connection. And I was like, wait a second, why am I doing all the work that I'm advising other people that they also shouldn't do themselves? I'm saying as business owners, they got to be working on their business, not in the business. And I'm like, what a realization. To run a smart business, you have to delegate, and you can't do it yourself. Me being a solopreneur, I was calling myself the all-in solopreneur, was probably one of the dumbest things I could have done. All I did was create myself a job, not a business. So that realization that I could maximize my impact through collaborating with others, getting others to help in certain aspects of the business, is and will continue to be huge for not only my growth as a company, but the amount of people that we can impact and help. One of my clients had suggested a book, and I think it was called Buy Back Your Time. And so I listened to the book and watched some of the videos, from the guy who put the book together, Dan Martell. It's a good book. And listening to the book, I was like, this is kind of like the 4-Hour Work Week, which I had read and did audiobooks numerous times before. But I'm like, I have to hire people to do certain tasks that I should not be doing, so I can do only the stuff that's the most valuable to the business, right? Do what I do best and outsource the rest. And I think that's the model that I want everyone to kind of know here who's watching or listening to this. The question isn't how, it's who. Who can you work with that can take care of some of those tasks that you should probably not be doing? I met with a virtual assistant agency probably about a month ago. And as I'm going through and I'm talking to them and I'm going through their onboarding package, they got some cool videos and stuff that's explaining everything they're doing. And they're like, if you're a business owner, you should not be doing any tasks that cost you, less than $250. So if it's $250 or less, that should be outsourced to somebody. And I was like, that's high, right? That's a lot of money. But I was like, you know what? That actually makes sense. For me to want to build the business that I want to build, if it costs me less than $250 an hour to do, someone else should do it. So I focus on doing what I do best. And so I had to take a hard look. I'm like, okay, all in content. The model is, with me doing it myself, this is how it works. I come up with ideas. I record the content and I coach the person throughout the session. Then I'm taking it all back and we're uploading it. We're backing it up. We're then reviewing that content. Then we're editing it. We're pulling out, so either long form or short form content. We're doing multiple versions. We're captioning everything, making sure that's accurate. We might be slapping a thumbnail on it. Maybe we're doing some B-roll footage, some other graphics. And then most customers that we work with, we actually schedule it for them on their social media, which means we're connecting to their Facebook, their LinkedIn, their Instagram, their YouTube, whatever it is. We're doing a lot of work. And then I got clients as part of the monthly retainer programs where I'm responding to Google reviews and I'm also editing their websites. I'm adding blog posts. I'm building promotional videos and VSLs. We're sometimes recording really cool projects and videos as well. Like, I can't talk about it, but we did a music video recently as an example. We did one where we featured a whole condo development area that's kind of getting built up. That's going to be really cool, and hired a drone expert to help us, right? So we do a lot of cool shit, and we do a lot. So again, have this conversation on the whole $250 an hour, and then I start writing out everything that I do, and I was like, that's a lot of stuff. And then I start trying to put some price tags against it. Like, I've done job costing before, and I think it was probably the first episode of this season I talked about job costing. But for those who don't know, I'll say it again. Job costing is where you basically figure out, like, how much does it cost for you to fulfill the work that you're doing, and how profitable is it? So I had done that exercises too, and I start realizing it's not profitable for me to touch everything. Now my wife's part of the business, and she doesn't get paid as much, but she does some work for me, and so I figured, okay, so her rate is X amount. And if she does more stuff, that would help. But I'm like, I need to actually look at my cost for fulfillment to be cheaper. So in order to make that possible, I got to outsource. And so I could get assistants, I could get, other companies to do some aspects, but what's the stuff that I can give up? And then it dawned on me, which again took me way too long to know or to realize, I have to outsource a bulk of the complex video editing. Get it off my plate. People pay me to be behind the camera for now, and to coach them and pull out all that good value. They don't care who edits the videos as long as they're good quality. And I was like, wow, I can't believe I haven't done that yet. Here I am working 70, 80 hours a week, having stuff priced incorrectly, I would say as well, doing all this content and not really benefiting from it because I'm doing it stupidly. I'm trying to do it all myself, being the solopreneur. And yeah, my wife's helping for some, but I'm still doing 90%. And with everything else that's going on, I'm like, we have to outsource it. So excited to be now looking at it differently, bringing on an editing agency to help us, bringing on some assistants to help us, hiring to buy back my time. Because my thinking is, if I buy back my time, one, my clients get the best version of me, which is great. Two, I get a little bit more rest and relaxation. I can then take that time that I gain back to find the right clients, the right customers, to forge connections, to potentially go and speak at events, to run events, to do any one of a number of things. And so it's huge. But it was such a weird moment for me to realize that I'm essentially telling people that they should be outsourcing their content. And I also need to be outsourcing some of the work that I do, or delegating the work that I do. Again, I thought that was interesting connection, correlation, whatever you want to call it. I had this stigma, I guess, that outsourcing was wrong and getting other people to do work for me was going to hurt. And in fact, it's the exact opposite. It helps. If I go back in my career, had I had this realization, I probably would have hired some virtual assistants myself when I was making really good money to be able to assist with some projects and stuff that I was doing so I don't have to work as hard. It's about working smarter, not harder, and being able to leverage the talents of others. Like when you do that through collaboration, you can improve the quality of work. There's things that, you know, let's put it this way. I'm capable of a lot. I can do a lot. I could do everything. The question is, should I do everything? The answer is no. You shouldn't do everything. It makes no sense for you to do every single thing. You got to focus on what you do best, and then free up time to, grow your business. Don't be stuck in the business because you need to also work on the business. That was part of the challenge. I have no time to do things to grow the business if I'm stuck editing everything, if I'm stuck building Canva posts, if I'm stuck scheduling the content. That is what other people can do for me. Doing website updates, I shouldn't be spending my time doing that. It should be somebody else who can do that. I can be the person behind the camera, and I can be the person coaching and consulting, leveraging the things that I do best. But all the other stuff, we can get other people to do with guidance from me. Now, in your business, in your career, in your life, have you looked at outsourcing yet? Have you considered bringing somebody else in to help you? If you haven't, I urge you to think about it. It's going to be difficult to let go. I still struggle with it. It is still a challenge for me, but it is something that is probably the best decision I've made in regards to my business. And I can't wait to continue to do more of it, to be honest, to help us continue to take things to the next level. But it's going to take a commitment to, let's use my words, go all in on outsourcing. All right, that's a wrap for today's dose of reality on the Chris Hanna Show. If you're fired up and ready to kick some serious ass, then I've done my job. But remember, knowledge without action is just wasted breath. So what are you going to do? Sit around and let opportunities pass you by? Or are you going to step up and take what's yours? The choice is yours, but don't expect sympathy if you choose the easy road. If you've got value from today's episode, smash that subscribe button, leave a review, or share it with somebody who needs a wake-up call. Don't keep this gold to yourself unless you're afraid of a little competition. Stay bold, stay hungry, and remember, always go all in. Until next time, this is Chris Hanna signing off. Now go out there and take what's yours.